We know that in order for us to be an effective community bank, we have to give back to the community. We have to be seen as being a community leader in not only the allocation of capital in how we do our lending, but a community leader in being a part of the fabric of the community from a philanthropic point of view, from a point of view of our employees investing their own time. It's not just money. It's people getting involved and being passionate with their communities.
And this team met every single week, and it just went so smoothly. I don't think I've ever had a project go so easily. So
we ask our folks to make sure that they're involved, and the community activities that they're involved in, we're involved in, and the bank supports. And I think that's really what makes a community bank, and I think that's the foundation of any success of any community bank in the nation.
When we close the transaction, which is anticipated in early April, will be $3.3 billion and 67 branches, I think, from Bellingham in the north to Portland in the south. So
our growth has been exponential over the last 5 years, and so the excitement is great. There's a lot of work always to be done, and change to accept as we get bigger in this environment.
I would say that the past 4 years have been a game changer for the bank. We have done 4 acquisitions, we've done 2 capital raises, we have grown the bank organically through new branches. Since 2009, the bank has received awards as a best place to work every year from either the Puget Sound Business Journal, the Business Examiner, or both.
Renee Oram, I'm the Business Development Associate here at Heritage Bank, and I have been at the bank for, I'll be 14 years in March, and in 2008 I created my own position. Being able to create my own position, that says something about the management team here, and seeing my vision and knowing that that's important to Heritage says a lot about the leadership here at Heritage Bank.
My name's Jim Morris. I've been a local businessman here in Olympia for over 30 years. A few years back, I needed to talk to Brian to get some cheap advice, and I called up his office and the phone rang, and Brian answers the phone. Hello, Brian Vance. And I waited for the please leave a message after the beep, and instead of that I got a hello, is anybody there? And so in this day and age, when you have a CEO that's answering his own phone, that just goes to show the character of Brian Vance and the man that he is. He has not forgotten where he started at the bottom floor of banking and has done quite well, showing that he can achieve pretty much whatever he wants.
Brian comes across as a real genuine individual, and I think that's what impresses most of the clients when they first meet him, is that he comes across as a very natural, very accessible type of person that doesn't have any agendas that appear to come out, but he's very focused on the bank and the clients and being a community banker.
One of my roles as a board member is to chair the compensation committee. I don't know very many CEOs that you'd have to arm wrestle to get them to accept a pay increase. And I've had to do that several times with Brian. I've won a few and he's won a few, but it's a pretty unique position to be in.
He is willing to talk and help darn near anybody, which is a real asset in this community. We are a small family business, and without Brian's leadership and guidance to our company, we would probably not be here, or we would not be nearly as successful as we've been. And I would like to say thank you very much for that, Brian. We used to be with big institutions, which I won't name, and they don't get it because they don't know hometown markets. They don't know what's going on here. They don't know the person's history. And so much of it is just trust. Boils down to just trust and confidence.
I'm Gerald Pumphrey, and I certainly do remember the first time I met Brian Vance. He was one of the 5 trustees who entered interviewed me for the position of president of South Puget Sound Community College. And I was just struck right away by what a calm and reasoned person Brian is, and that he is a great listener.
I am Norma Scheidemann, the president and CEO of the Community Foundation of South Puget Sound. I met Brian Vance several years ago for the first time when he was attending one of our annual luncheons which Heritage Bank has supported for over 6 years. Brian serves on our Finance and Investment Committee, where his counsel is critical and highly valued. It's well known in the community that Heritage Bank is a supporter of community. Brian continues a tradition that was started by the leadership of Don Rhodes, and when the bank chose Brian to continue, I think the community was assured that that philanthropic caring about the community would continue.
Good morning.
We've had an opportunity of having some growth throughout the company for the last several years, but what that has provided is folks that have started with us 10, 15 years ago that have significant roles with the company today. I've watched them grow and I've watched them be successful. That's what really gets me going and keeps me coming back the next day is finding those employees that want to make a difference, that want to commit to a career with Heritage, do their job, do it well, and we've got a lot of them that have done that, and they've been successful, and I'd like to think that I've been a little part of that at some point in the process. To me, that gives me a tremendous amount of satisfaction.
He's just one of those quiet, very humble. You do it because you should do it, not because you need credit for it. He just does stuff because the old school, the way you should. And that, I think, is a lot of his heritage, just being an old farm boy from Idaho. You get it done.
He has put together an amazing management team, and one that I think is really second to none in the banking industry in Washington State.
I believe that Heritage Bank has cracked the code on customer service. I've been a customer the entire time I've lived in Olympia, and I've probably been in every single branch that Heritage has in Thurston County. And I have found a ubiquitous and high level of customer service every single time I've ever been in the bank. People who've helped me there have often done more than I asked or expected, and they've done it with a smile every single time. As leader of a significant organization in the past, I truly value the ability of the leadership to create that environment and to diffuse that across an organization that has multiple locations. That is not an easy thing to do, and I think Heritage Bank has done a wonderful job of it, and I know that that is a value that is near and dear to Brian's heart. And I think it speaks to integrity, and it speaks to decency, and it speaks to kindness as well as good business.
I think that if we are genuinely honest, we do things with integrity, and even though it might be difficult, we always do the right thing. And I think that is something that if anybody implies the honesty and integrity and doing the right thing, they will be successful in whatever endeavor they choose. Those are the things I try to do every day. I'm not successful at it, but it's an important part of, I think, who I try to be every day.